people. Welcome to another episode of the TOD show. I am Odola Abayomi, and I have on the show today with me an amazing personality, a woman that has been doing well in her field. I have on the show with me the founder and the CEO of Bonzee Consult, Dr. Kemi Olasoji. It's a pleasure to have you on today.
Thank you so much for having me.
How many days here?
Okay, my name is Dr. Oluwakemi Olasoji. I'm founder and CEO at Bonzee Consulting. I've had about, let's say, 15 years work experience within the HR sector, engineering, e-commerce, logistics, and of course, marketing agencies. In Nigeria, and of course, I've worked with a couple of multinational for a period in Nigeria here and abroad. And of course, I've had experience managing teams, managing people, working with fantastic individuals, and it's not been easy, but it's been a fantastic journey. And here we are.
Wow, that's interesting. So why did you choose this career path?
Okay, for starters, I did mention to you earlier that I actually started in core sciences. I was in the Department of Applied Zoology at one point, and I majored in astrology. But I realized that I had a knack for people and business. And so it has always been in my brain at some point that I said I wanted to start something different. But I didn't have any idea. But as time went by, I went into school. I turned back to social sciences. So I did my PGD, MSc, and then PhD in human resource management. And that's all I needed to actually become, yes.
PhD. How does it feel like being a woman with PhD? I mean, the whole thing surrounding being a doctor and a woman, a white to be specific.
Okay. I was supposed to be a medical doctor, so I disappointed my father. So I told him that I was going to be a doctor. So I knew that whether I liked it or not, I have to be a doctor in this lifetime, right? Wow. So it would take a lot because it's not easy, nursing children and, raising a family basically. And you have parents, you have other dependents, you have, proteges here and there, and you still have to go back to school. Adult learning, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it wasn't easy, but it's more about determination to want to achieve and to want to do something different and change the entire narrative. So it's more like a shifting pattern for me. And so I told myself that I needed to prepare for it. And because I was really born to do this, I had to, brace up to the occasion.
Bonzee Consult, you work with a lot of SMEs, right?
Yes, Chris.
So when you work with SMEs, what are the major consulting aspects that you do for them?
Okay, our business is divided into three arms. So we have HR consulting. I'm going to break it down a bit. So when you hear HR consulting, naturally what comes to your mind is, they're recruiting people. No, that's not what we do. In fact, if we have to ever recruit people, we actually add on talent. We acquire talent. In HR, we call it talent acquisition, retention, and management. So we help people hire specific talent in specific sectors or roles. So we go as far as helping them to manage, because not everyone can actually manage people, for instance. So that's what we do. Apart from that, there's a specific business we call service, called employee engagement. So in there, we find different ways or methodology or approaches to helping people in business manage their staff. We realize that there's a bit of shift between how employees perceive their employers and how hard it is for employers also to communicate to their people. So we come into the picture to help you bridge that gap. So with different methodologies and approaches, we're able to, help you communicate and make sure that at the end of the day, productivity is achieved and business growth as well. That's one part of the business. Then management consulting. I tell you what, in my experience so far, it's really interesting when you find CEOs who become CEOs because maybe their father actually, passed on the business to them, or maybe they had an idea and uncle gave them money to start, and they have no experience. They haven't managed people before. Some of those guys have not even worked anywhere before.
So they don't have it.
They have no experience. So you see them come to the office, they're yelling because they're having a bad day or they're having mood swings. They're not managing people practically. And then the employee who's coming to work is also having issues, maybe, spousal abuse, maybe health-related issues. These things are really happening. So it's our job to help management people, to train management teams, to exact leadership roles. We teach these guys what to do, what not to do, especially on core areas like emotional intelligence. So that way, it's not just about, being a boss. It's about being a leader and also raising leaders. So we have different kind of programs and courses, leadership training and developmental training that help these guys to absorb the role and do well in the role. Now, the third part, which is very important to us as it relates to SMEs as well, is the business consulting part of Bonzee Consulting. So for me, I love challenges a lot. So I've always loved startups. Even in my work experience, ask anyone, I always go to the startup because that is where the crazy job is. And guess what? I like to play, get my hands dirty because you start learning. You meet a lot of people. You sit down to do strategies, you get innovation. There are lots of ideas. We are really, really gifted in Africa. Nigeria, we are really gifted Nigerians. And so I think I've been able to learn from people. I've been able to meet fantastic people, young, old, middle age. So it gives me a total experience, and this is what I love. So business consulting, Bonzee Consulting, we have worked with different kind of SMEs, regardless of what kind of business, from the ideation stage when you even conceive the idea. Some people have an idea, they don't know how to go up. Exactly. So from the ideation stage, we come up with strategies to help you, work on it, implement it, execute it, and even continuously manage it. And then because of my experience in the e-commerce and logistics sector, we sort of have our core focus in e-commerce and logistics. I mean, I practically have experience in it. And most of the staff who work at Bonzee Consulting are also very experienced in this space. So that is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on top of our list, right? But we also consult for other sector, real estate, agencies, marketing, and, what have you. So those are the 3 arms of Bonzee Consulting, and that's what we do to cater to the needs of SMEs, in Nigeria and of course Africa at large.
Okay, Doctor, I've been able to work with SMEs over the years. What are the challenges that you feel SMEs face in Nigeria?
Well, there are a lot, yeah. It's important that you start from yourself. There are days you wake up in the morning and you don't feel like doing anything, but remembering that you have a lot of people, waiting for you, and then the world is waiting for you as well. You pick up yourself and, so you need to be mentally strong. That's very important. Then every business needs funding. Some people have the opportunity to have funding from friends, family, and, sometimes government too has been assisting. I'll get back to that later. So funding is very important. And there are a couple of businesses and investors who are also looking towards Africa, especially with the advent of, technology rising, and there are a lot of Africans doing fantastic things, especially in Nigeria. So people are funding businesses here. So you need financial, backing before you can support, before you can, there's some businesses that will need you to have like a space. So it's very important that you, based on your business, to understand which part of Lagos, for instance, you're supposed to be, whether you should be on the mainland or the island, or you should be in between, like, how Yaba suddenly became like the tech hub of Lagos. So it's one of the things. So trying to get a perfect space that will suit your business, that will also suit your customers, is very important. That's like a very big challenge, but we know people like us will come in and, assist. Apart from that, another major challenge about now, especially with the old jackpot syndrome, is trying to get the right staff to work with you. It's not about just finding people to come and work for you, but having the right staff, the right people with the right business ethics, the right people who know the job, who know the business, who have industry experience, are no key to your vision. It's very important. You can find people with all these things and they don't like what you're doing. So when I hire, for instance, I try to ask, do you think this business, haven't explained what we're trying to do you think it's something you would love to get on? I am passionate about this particular thing. So some people will say they don't want to do it. Some people will say, okay, I just like the CEO and I want to connect. So it's very, very important. But this is like one of, the few problems that people are also having. And then regulations, I kid you not. The regulations nowadays, it's really very funny how people just wake up one morning and then you find a new law. Like it was just in December that we started hearing different things about taxation laws. I had to call my consultant last week and say, you know what, I cannot be found wanting in this space because for my business, and then I'm managing a couple of SMEs here and there. It'll be too sad if they have to pick them up. People are trying to follow this thing because not about compliance now for them. It's just because they just want to do it so that I don't get caught. That is not the idea about this. So it's really, really sad. But people are waking up every morning with the determination to achieve, and it's getting better, but we still have a long way to go.
Okay, Doctor, SMEs are springing up from different sectors. We have people producing Nigerian-made products, selling to the global market and all of that. Do you feel the SME aspect, like the SME industry in Nigeria, is being supported enough by the government?
I I can't say yes, in totally. I can't say yes totally. We have heard for the past decade. I think that government has come up with different initiatives here and there. You would hear, oh, CBN is supporting something. There's a funding somewhere. But I think that a lot of people in the private sector have done more help, than the governments. And even for the government, some of these loans that they're giving out is very hard to assess them. That's another thing. You can hear, oh, something is going on via WhatsApp groups are sending things here and there, but you don't have access to it. So I think that government should do a bit more of visibility. So when there's a loan, for instance, to be assessed, you need to let people know what the eligibility criteria is, and then you should also let them know how to get it in real time. Not that, oh, when it's closed, and then you start hearing it's closed. They also need to be able to use technology to guide this thing, because nowadays a lot of people are also using this to scam people. They'll ask you, pay this before you can get this, which is really, really sad. So I think government still need to do a lot more to support the SME, because we are the ones actually helping the community, the economy to grow. And there's a part where we're also empowering people. We are saving lives. So it's very important that government supports the SME. They're not really doing enough, I must say that.
So the government needs to do more on the financial aspect.
Yes, majorly.
Some policies about SME and all of that.
So, with these policies, I would strongly believe that people in the government, people make up the government. So they must have done a bit of research here and there before they feel that, okay, this has to be done, this regulation has to be done. It's okay. But how do you ensure compliance? It's more of a compliance issue when it comes to regulation. You can't... Even with animals, someone needs to guide them to get things done. It works with humans as well. Someone has to be a frontier in getting things done. So the government needs to make sure that whatever regulations they come up with, they should ensure compliance for the benefit of the sector and the people. It's not about making it look like you're haunting people. You get what I mean? So, but now it's a bit perfunctory and everybody rushes to get things done because, I don't want problem. I don't want, issues. But it has to be more of compliance for the better good. So I think government should come from that angle. There's nothing wrong with having proper policies and compliance to help, SME or the business sector. But compliance should be ensured at, the right level.
Okay, Doctor, how do you feel SMEs can actually improve their businesses aside from following government policies and funds and all of that? What advice do you have to give to SMEs?
Okay, to start with, what is the reason of starting your own business?
The vision.
What is your vision? What is your mission? Are you waking up every day and living to fulfill that? A lot of people, you go to many offices, you see the mission and the vision pasted on the wall. Nobody follows it. What are the core values of your business? Did you set up your business to solve a problem, to solve a need? If you have access to some of those investors, these are the questions that are going to ask you. And your answers will show whether you're really prepared or ready. If you start with the wrong intent of just making money, you're doomed for failure. You will fail. So I tell SME, I tell founders, I tell CEOs, you need to start with the right motive. And also, I've met a lot of people who naturally are just trying to give back, to the community, to society. There are some people who want to change the narrative about how Africa is perceived. I've met a couple of people like that. Those are good reasons to start up a business. So
that's their ambition.
Yeah, that's a vision. They want to be like, the best African. They want to be the best African. And it's not a mandate. Yes, it happens because you need to go out there. The narrative is really bad.
So it's not like they're actually setting up that business to make profit.
Yes, profits will come eventually, because when you hire the right people to get the job done, you will talk about profitability of the business. When you bootstrap for it, that after a while you scale up. Right. Well, having it at the back of your mind, like, we're to the answer. Let's make money quick. It's not a good way, because eventually, when regulation comes, they eat you. When taxation laws come, they eat you. When the weather of uncertainties, eat you, you get tired. You get tired and you give up. That's why you see, we had a bit of research, I think 2 years back, after COVID from COVID till now. If you count how many percentage of businesses have started and have folded up, they're more than 50%.
Wow.
Yes, it's because a lot of people are just they're not trying to bridge a gap or see a need and feel it or, solve a problem. They're just doing it because they want to make money. So eventually we'll know what. So you need to start with the right motive. You need to follow your mission and your vision. And one thing which has worked for me over the years is this. People don't take it serious, but this is for me, it works. People first. Bonzee Consulting is a people first agency. We do not, regardless of whatever certification you have, regardless of what you think you know, how well traveled you are, it's important to take people first, right? One of my slogan is, you cannot achieve anything without a talented workforce. You as an individual, you can't do anything on your own. You need people. So at every phase of our lives, in our businesses, in different teams that set up, you need people. So learn to treat people right. Your staff, be interested in your people, what they do, their personal life. People management generally, you get it now. That's why we came up with that segment, employee engagement. Engage with your people, understand them. People will work for you because they love to work for you, not because they want to earn. I was having a conversation with someone earlier today, and we realized that 65% of people who are working in this country at the moment are working to just get paid. It's fine, yes. It's not. That is on a minimal, and it's not the best way to get stuff done. But would there ever be a time when people will wake up and be excited to go to work? Excited to go and add value? That is the kind of narration we want to. Yes, that's what we want. So when SME founders are ready to go to that direction, it's a big shift. And that's why we are set up to help people get to that point where employers are not afraid to leave their business and travel because they know that they have good hearts on there. Exactly. And even employees are not scared. Some people, they'll see their boss come in and then they disappear into thin air. We are trying to see a situation where we get to that point where the narration changes and everybody works together collectively, exactly, employer and as a team. So when you do that, you foster a good relationship, people work better, they're happy at work, and the business will grow. Because when people are happy doing what they're doing, they will grow as individuals and the business will also grow. At the end of the day, the money you're looking for, you finally get it.
Yeah, that's true. Doctor, we need to go on it quick for my show. All right, now we come back to discuss further on SME. It's been an interesting one with Dr. Kemi discussing about SMEs and all of that. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back from the break. And I still have on the show with me Dr. Kemi. We're discussing about SMEs and how they can actually move their business and upscale whatever they're doing currently. Okay, so Doctor, recently you've been doing trainings and development for SMEs. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes. So in HR, we call this learning and development. So sometimes a business might feel there's a gap within the team and they want to train people. Now, I'll tell you the typical Nigerian scenario. They just go, hello, please come and do customer service training. They join everybody together, come and do training. Oh, they need sales training. Join everybody together, they do. No. So at Bonzee Consulting, we try to engage with people, right? So you might think someone needs training, and after speaking with them, you realize that they're just going through stuff and they just probably need a hug and a word of encouragement. So we speak with them. We identify the gaps ourselves before we now get back to management and say, the person you said needs customer service training, probably needs sales or consultative sales training, or probably just needs, training in soft skills. So what we have done this year, we've created like a calendar, right? We have different kind of trainings from soft skills to tech skills to professional skills in different fields and sector. So that way, we're able to key into different people. So if we come to you or you come to us and you say, I think my people need so we think, don't worry, we're coming to you to come and learn what exactly they need. So when we identify them, we'll key them into the calendar for the year. So we just want to help people change the narrative. We want people to get better at their jobs. We want people to be happier when they're doing that. And whilst we're training people, we are also doing a bit of psychology, watching them, their patterns, how they respond to trainings. Because the end of the training is to, at the end of you need to go back home and show what you have done. You can't come for Excel training and then the next time they're asking you, how do you do average? And then you're looking at the system. How do you wrap this? And then you don't know what you're doing. So you're supposed to go back and, give back to the business as well. Yeah. So it depends. Some could be 1 month training. Some could be like just 2 weekends. It depends on how serious the training is. Some could be like a 3 month program. It could be a 6 month program. But most of the trainings we would have for starters would be like 2-3 days kind of training. So that way, we do more like an introduction to a particular space or field. And, excitement will be shown alongside the course training. And then you might say, I want to come back. Even sometimes your business might say, I can't afford 100%. I'll do 60. You'll be glad to do 40 because you've been inspired the first time you learned. So we'll be doing quite a lot, this year.
You have different levels of training for the top staff, the
mid-level, yes. So they're in different phases. So an entry-level staff have different kind of training that they need. Mid-level managers, especially people who are team leaders who are trying to become managers, based on their career pathing, they have, different kind of training. And then for those in the management level, those who are leaders, bosses, are top, founders, we do more of emotional intelligence training, financial planning training, focusing on budgeting, things like that on how to manage the business properly and also to be able to manage people. So there are different trainings for different levels and different sectors as well.
Doctor, what training would you recommend for founders and CEO?
Firstly, from what I've seen in this country, every CEO needs to learn emotional intelligence. I've worked with CEOs who from the gate, they're just wearing a frown like, you're having a bad day. Should everybody's, suck into your energy? It doesn't work like that. So, and you're making it look like you're doing people a favor working for you. That's not it. You're not doing anybody a favor. It's a trade by barter kind of thing. I need you and you need me. So you need to create a safe environment for people to thrive. You need to create a safe place. If as a founder you're doing that, automatically the managers you have will incorporate the same kind of mentality into the team. So I always recommend emotional intelligence, EI, that's what we call it, so that you can increase your EQ, you get better at what you do, and you can manage yourself because it has to do with social awareness, self-awareness. When you start like that, you'll be able to have self-control, you're able to suck in things that happen and not react at the same time. And, generally, it will affect the way you treat people in your house, in your personal space, and the way you manage people who are your subordinates. So naturally, the first thing that comes to mind is to, tell them to learn that. Then apart from that, it's important to understand financial analysis, business analysis, financial planning, focusing on budgeting. A lot of people that are founders find themselves there and they have no idea. So that when your accountant is talking to you, you're not lost. You need to learn all of this. And then there are bits of, marketing strategy here and there that you also need to learn and understand. So when your marketing creatives are talking to you, you have an idea. I once worked for someone who is a religious person. And, when we try to say, oh, we're trying to launch this outfit today, it was a fashion, store. And guess what? This guy just comes and said, no, that skin is too short. Oh, this is too long. You cannot infuse your religious life into business. There are two different entities. So you need to learn, marketing creative strategies around it and how these things work. So those are basic things they need to learn. With time, they'll get better as a progress. But they should be open-minded enough to learn from people who work or report to them.
Okay, wrapping up the show, Doctor, how have you been able to leverage on social media in your business?
Yes, I know to be a social media for starters. Yes, so social media has done a lot of good, to be realistic. When we started, I started around 2016. I didn't really have a space, and I was also in the secular space working for people.
Like 7 years ago.
Yes. But the fear of I will do this thing. Will I be able to scale? You were scared, and then I kept doing it. I didn't give up. 2020, I picked it up properly. I started doing my framework. I started scaling. So it's not like you just wake up one day and and then of course there are lots of challenges left, right, and center. But because it's more of a passion for me. It's something I've told myself I want to do. I want to help change the narrative in the HR space. I want a lot of businesses to scale because it affects my country, it affects Africa as a whole. And I'm also in that category of people who want Africa to be projected in a better light.
Nice.
So I'm just ready to do everything nearly possible, to make these things happen. So it's not easy, but we keep pushing. With time, we got an office space. With time, we started hiring the right people that are fit, to work at Bonzee, because we have a proper culture at Bonzee. We're not just HR people who want to just say, oh, God factor HR, you're working, everybody's running. No, we want to practice the proper HR culture, which is lacking in the country, and we want to change the narrative. So it's a serious shift that we're trying to do. It will take a lot of effort. It will take a lot of hard work. It will take a lot of noise making. And social media has given us that platform, because from having Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, a lot of people have been, reaching out to me. I was on TV the other day, and people randomly called me, people I've never met, and I saw you on TV, and, I would like to ask a few questions. Can you help me? So social media has, been able to give us that opportunity to showcase. And if you go on our IG page, and of course LinkedIn as well, we keep educating people on some of the things I've talked about today. So you can go there, follow us on, social media at Bonzee Consult on all social media. So you can learn different things that you don't know or you're not even exposed to about HR, about people, about business, and about culture. So that way, if everybody, absorb the right culture, we can all collectively grow the business sector in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Dr. for honoring the show to be on. Thank you so much for having me. Fantastic time with you. It's a wrap today on the COD show, and actually learned a whole lot from Dr. personally, how to manage your business, emotional intelligence. We'll be back again next week for another episode of the TOD show. I remain your host, Odola Abayomi.